Oh, yo, what's up, guys? I found out some information where Peanut Butter Wolf lives. I haven't, called him or anything, but hopefully he's down to do a little interview with us. I'm kind of getting him by surprise. Let's see what's up with this guy. Yo, Wolf. Yo, it's Prince R.Ace, man. Distortion and Static. Yo. What's up?
Hey, what up?
What you got? Hey, I was just wondering if you want to do a little interview for our show.
Yeah. Let me just finish feeding the fish.
All right, let's go feed the fish real quick. We're going to feed the fish real quick, and then we'll go ahead and do that interview. So, where you from, first of all?
Well, I mean, I kind of was an Army brat. My dad was in the Army, so I was going all over the place. But, from the age of 5 until my adulthood, I grew up in San Jose, California, so... always, San Jose is always going to be my first home.
So how did you get your name, Peanut Butter Wolf?
Man, back in 85, when I was really starting DJing and stuff, I went by Chris Cut, and there was a song called King Cut that came out around that time. I was like, oh man, but I stuck with it anyways. And then Peanut Butter Wolf, that's a long story, man. How much time do you got? No, I'll say the short version. But yeah, there was a kid. I was with this girl back late 80s and stuff, and her little brother was telling us stories about the Peanut Butter Wolf, and I was like, what the hell is that? And, so I was telling Charisma that story about the Peanut Butter Wolf, and he's like, oh man, that should be your DJ name, and I don't know. I was always up for just doing some weird-ish. I'm supposed to cuss, right? Oh, okay. But I was always down for challenges like that. So, when I first had that name, people were always just confused, now it's like, it doesn't really have any meaning. It's just like, it's not because I like peanut butter, which I do like peanut butter, but just don't call me Peanut. That's my only little request. Call me Wolf, call me Peanut Butter.
Okay. So you said you started DJing when?
I mean, really, I got my first mixer 83, so, obviously more than half my life, but, I was 13 at the time. Started doing clubs when I was old enough to go to clubs, so. I mean, A-Track, he was out there at 15 in the clubs, they made the exception, but it's a little different time for me, I think, back then.
So, you want to talk more about your early days DJing, producing? How'd you get into producing and DJing? I mean, I know you just, started buying records. So how did?
I mean, I started buying records when I was 9 years old. I was buying records every weekend, basically, just saving money, not eating, saving my lunch money and all that. I guess a lot of kids did that too, but so that's when I really got into it. From then on, I was kind of like an adult in a kid's body, I guess, or whatever. Just really, really into it. And by 13, that's when I got my mixer. Making beats when I was 14, 15, little drum machines. It was a different era, completely different era,
So
Run DMC kind of.
So what were your influences then, as far as making beats and DJing?
Well, I guess like I said, Run DMC, or even the King Cut I was talking about earlier, but I was buying all the indie stuff like Schoolie D when he first came out, and Just Ice, in '86. And those were all the guys I looked up to, kind of. They called it hardcore hip hop, but it's the pre-gangsta stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So you're talking about old school hip hop. What do you think about hip hop today? New stuff maybe you hear on the radio, it's on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something for everybody, now. I mean, for a while, I was really burnt out on commercial music, but then I got into it, past couple of years, in the South. I really love the South stuff, but I think that there's room for the South and what I do, which is completely different, And that's kind of what I'm here for, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're doing is different. And it's on Stone Store Records. How did you start Stone Store Records?
I was kind of doing stuff for everybody else, I was putting out stuff on people's compilations, this Return of the DJ that Bomb Records put out with David Paul, and put out this breakbeat for this other record label called Peanut Butter Breaks, and I just kind of, from all those experiences, I always wanted to do my own, so I just got someone to believe in me, with the money to help invest in it early on, I mean, the distributors are usually your investors. If you don't have money, you just believe in yourself and you convince a distributor to put your stuff out. So, but I mean, you know, that's like 8 years ago. You know, it's still alive and well doing this.
What artists are on Stone Store Records?
I really lost track, man. I mean, we're actually like at our 100th release right now, so you know, a big part of the label obviously is Madlib. He does a lot of stuff under different names: Quasimodo, Yesterday's New Quintet, J-Lib, Mad Villain, on and on. So, but you know, like Wild Child we did last year, Dudley Perkins, got Ono and Metaphor coming up, so a lot of different stuff.
Would you say Stone Store has a particular style that you go for, or is it just kind of, I mean, how do you meet these artists and choose what artists go on Stone Store Records?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a family thing. Like a lot of the artists I just mentioned, you know, they all grew up together and stuff too. But I mean, I'm like a real picky ear, you know, I like really judgmental and stuff, and I feel like you have to be that way, you know, you can't really settle for less, like when you expect people to be buying your records. So.
Yeah. Why have you chosen LA for the home of Stone Store Records?
A lot of reasons. I mean, growing up, like actually a lot of people don't know this, but my first year at college I went down to Long Beach State, you know, and I really liked it then. This was 87, you know, without dating myself too much. I'm like 34 going on 19 right now, but yeah, you know, I liked it back then. That was the K-Day era when they were doing them, you know, like when, I don't know, King T and like all that stuff had first come out. I guess I just wanted to change, you know, and Madlib was living out here and Breakastra, this group I was working with, so just figured I'd try it out and stuff. And I enjoy it a lot. Actually, LA's a lot like San Jose to me. It's more like San Jose than San Francisco even, because it's more spread out, you know, you need your car to get around. And I hate the DPT in San Francisco, man. If I could say one thing, and don't edit this out, please. I was, spending a lot of money on parking tickets that I thought were really not necessary, so
I feel you, man.
it's kind of a pimping system, whoever's responsible for that. I'm going to make t-shirts that say DPT crossed out. Get my little side hustle on.
We should do that. Okay. Do you have any advice for DJs and producers trying to get into the scene?
Just the obvious stuff that you read everybody saying, to believe in yourself, you know. Always be a fan first. Try to listen to as much stuff as you can, you know, get influence from everything. A lot of people say they're not influenced. I'm not influenced by nothing, and I'm totally against that. Like, take from everything.
How about
and give back.
So, how can people that don't know or want to find out more about Stone Store Records and the artist, how can they find out more about it?
www. Yeah, it's with an S, STONESTHROW. No apostrophe in that S either.
Okay. Stone Store Records.
Yeah, I mean the internet, man.
Yeah, that's the place to go.
We're the internet rap, bro.
And any upcoming projects that you want to promote or anything?
Yeah, I mean, Ono's album, you know, Ono's Madlib's brother, for those who don't know, but his album is going to be out very shortly, maybe by the time you're watching this. And Metaphor, who's on the Quasimodo album, he was on Shades of Blue, Madlib stuff, but he's got an album too, so. Oh, and the new Quasimodo. Can't forget that. That's coming out actually at the beginning of the year, so.
Okay.
Yep, he's back. Yeah, when I wanted to put out the Charisma album recently, I went back and like went through all the old tapes and stuff, but this was like me and him on the radio at KSC, Santa Clara. This was our first demo. Charisma wrote it all out, phone numbers and stuff. That was the Chris Cut days. He spelled my name wrong though. Yeah, Vapors, Devotion, Fairweather Friend. Those were the tapes we would make at the studios. Charlie C, 4-track tape is when he used to be Charlie C before Charisma. So,
Cool.
yeah,
A lot of good stuff.
Okay. So first off, is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So who is Charisma? First off.
Charisma, aka Charlie C. He was an MC. Man, where do you start? I don't know. I mean, I met Charisma when he was around 16 years old, you know, and I was working with a lot of different MCs around the neighborhood. Just basically just recording stuff on cassette. And this guy that I went to high school with, Kermit, he was telling me about this guy, or Charlie C at the time, you know, who had skills, and he's like, oh, you gotta check this guy out, man. He's like, you know, just blows everybody else away and stuff. So it's like, yeah, just bring him by the house and stuff, you know, and heard his stuff, and, you know, just immediate reaction, you know, like, oh, we gotta record some stuff. And I still have all the 4 tracks here, actually, you know, but he just really stood out from everyone else I was working with. And at the time, I didn't really see myself as like being in a group. I just wanted to produce for everybody, kind of like Molly Mall was doing, or, you know, someone like that. But Charisma would tell me, yeah, you know, I realized, because I would have to like schedule time for everybody to come to the house and stuff, you know. And he was like, yeah, I know you're working with everybody, but pretty soon it's just going to be like me, you know, I know it.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, you know, I was just like kind of agreeing, but not really meaning it or whatever. And we gotta unplug that. So.
Let's wait for that to finish.
This is live. Let me turn that off.
So where was this at? Where did this all take place?
So yeah, this was all at my house in San Jose, and Charisma lived in Milpitas, about 2 blocks away. I lived on the border, like North San Jose, and someone told a friend of mine recently that they live in that house now, and they saw a Charisma Peanut Butter Wolf sticker on the window, and they like,
That's cool.
yeah, it was just a real small world, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good. So, what do you think Charisma back then, or even now, brought to hip hop, as far as style and, I mean, just everything?
It was weird because he was really influenced by a lot of the East Coast artists. You know, I guess everybody was back then, because New York was really where hip hop started, as everybody knows. But he just, I mean, he was just a great performer. You know, and that wasn't really. I mean, it's captured on the album that we put out, but you have to see him live to kind of, you know, get the idea more. Yeah, he just had that extra something, you know. That's his name, Charisma, was just perfect for him, you know. I mean, everybody who saw us back then really thought that something big was going to happen, you know, come of it. You know, we were opening up for Cypress Hill and all those kind of groups, but Charisma would, you know, he would steal the show from people a lot of times.
So when you guys were a group, do you have any particular influences that you know, he had influences, you had influences, as far as a group together, or even just him?
I mean, his favorite MC was always Special Ed, you know, and Special Ed was like youngest in charge. He was like real young when he was doing it too, so I think that had a big impact on him. A lot of people compare Charisma to Big L, but Charisma passed away really before Big L ever came out, so it was kind of weird that, you know, that they were leading similar, like, I guess, lives, like in different coasts.
Kind of hear it in his voice a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And like audio too, but.
So, for people that didn't get a chance to hear much of Charisma, where can they find him on records and, you know, maybe albums he might have put out? Where can they check for him?
Yeah, I mean, I put out a 12-inch with him in '96. You know, he passed away in '93, but I started my label in '96, and I wanted to start the label with a song that I did with him. And the song was called My World Premiere, so it was really like the world premiere of my label, you know. It was kind of the concept behind it. And I just released the album last year, you know, like as a 10-year tribute to his passing away. Because it was all recorded in '92, '93. He passed away in December of '93, so I put it out in December of 2003. You know, just kind of a retrospective thing.
World premiere is a hip hop classic. So that was our first release.
It is.
Right, and
That's the first record, yeah. Stones Throw 001.
Yeah, definitely classic. Just want to say that.
I mean, it was funny. That song was a fluke. You know, we were in the studio recording Red Light, Green Light, and we were in a real expensive studio. And it was all booked by Hollywood Basics, which was the label we were on at the time, which was a division of Walt Disney. We had extra time. We finished mixing down Red Light, Green Light, and we're like, damn, we're in this great studio. We got like 3 hours. What are we gonna do? So I just took this beat and just started playing it, and he, just did like kind of a freestyle or whatever. But it was like one of those kind of mistake type songs, So it was weird.
That's funny. Okay, so do you have any stories, any kind of personal stories, something you remember, that just really pops out of your head when you think of Charisma? Share.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, it's weird. I almost it's such a different era for me. Like I should pause and I should think of a story, man. Like like when you lose a friend, like you kind of block a lot of it out of your mind. Like, I think afterwards, it's almost not like a reality, like everything that happened with him. Yeah.